I'm about to show you guys how I was able to do this full head of boho braids without using any synthetic hair. Hey guys, Duchess Braids here and welcome back to my channel. So today we have my sister here. We're getting ready to go on a little mini vacation, and so I did receive some hair from Curlsqueen for this boho braids, which I'll talk about later on in the video. But to get started, she came with her hair. It was washed. It was a little bit blown out, but it needed to be blown out a little bit more. So I went ahead and sprayed some heat protectant on it. And then I went in with my boar brush and my Babyliss Pro blow dryer and started to blow it out. And once I got it fully blown out, then I went in with my Neat Braids gel. You guys see, it's almost done, y'all. It's almost done. So I went in with that. I'm just going to slick up the back of her hair first to start out because I'm going to pre-part a little bit of the hair first before showing you guys how I was able to do this very new technique that I haven't done on my channel yet. And I was excited to do this because this is my first time doing this technique. And so there's a little trial run with you guys that we can go through as I'm doing this video to show you guys what I concluded the best way to install these human hair, no synthetic hair involved. So the first part that I did, went ahead, did the normal part, then I put the jam on it, and now I'm cleaning it up. And in the back, right before I get to the tip of the ear, we're going to do about 3 rows because technically we started out with these being small braids, but as the day went by and as time went by, the braids got a tad bit bigger and bigger as I went. But right now I'm just pre-parting. And so when I pre-part, I kind of part it out, twist it to get the part out the way. And then once I get to a certain point when I want to just jump into braiding, I'm just gonna jump into the braiding. As before, I just pre-part the hair where I want it to go, then I slide the jam or gel, whatever you use, across that part, and then I go in with my precision comb and I clean that part up. Because one thing about braiding, styling, or anything, I do find it very important to have super crisp and clean parts. It just makes the style look 10 times better when the parts are like on point. So now I'm going into my 3rd row, and after this row is when I'm going to jump into telling you guys some more about the hair and then right into starting the braid, and so that I can show you guys different techniques that you can use to do this style without using any synthetic hair. And this is important because I know a lot of clients when I was in the salon that was allergic to synthetic hair that would have to wash their hair in some type of apple cider vinegar to get any chemicals off the hair so that it wouldn't make their scalp itch like crazy. So for this install, we're using hair from Curlsqueen. We're using their natural deep 24-inch hair, and they did send me about 4 bundles of this. Look how much hair this is, and I did not use all 4 bundles. As you guys can see from the hair in the beginning, like it was super full, and I believe I only used maybe 3 bundles, but look how beautiful this hair is. And I love to kind of pull this little neck off the hair. I don't know, it's like a guilty pleasure of mine when I'm using this type of hair. But they also sent me this brush. I have so many of these brushes, y'all. Come take some, please. And then I have this new scarf because normally their scarf don't have those little tie things that's hanging off, which I love, 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 love. I use their scarf all the time. So a little trick I want to teach you guys on how I sort the hair for a style like this is I like to put some jam on the end of the hair. So this is going to allow me to pull the hair apart and for the hair to stay together. So this just really, really helps for me to place the hair on the rack. It just makes it so much easier when you put some jam on the end of the hair. Don't get the jam all over the hair because you don't want the hair to be super greasy, but it changes everything when you have some jam on the tip of the hair. You just pull it apart in the size that you want it to be and then just place them all over the rack, and that's just going to help this process go by a little bit faster. But later on in the video, y'all, things be changing later on in the video. If y'all ain't noticed yet, things definitely change later on in the video. Once we get tired, once, what I mean, we're done with the formalities, she's my sister, she's going to help me out a little bit. So to get started, y'all, I just started straight into adding the hair right at the tippity top. Before I even start turning the braid or anything, I just snuck a piece of hair in, and then at every turn I snuck a piece of hair in. And as you can see, I'm using the end of the braid, so I pull the curls out almost immediately and just start braiding with the tip. I'm using the human hair tip as my synthetic hair, so I'm using that to bulk up the braids and to braid out. So I'm really dependent on a certain amount of that hair to be in the braids so that it kind of helps with making the her plaits a little bit bulkier. But let me tell you, when you're doing this style, y'all, don't worry about the plaits because you're gonna add in so much boho hair and stuff, and that the neatness of the plaits don't matter for this style. One, no one's up on your scalp that close, and two, it's so difficult when you're adding bolts of hair in like this to have a neat braid. As you can see, there's a ton of flyaways from that hair, and we're going to end up cutting some of that off, of course, but just expect a ton of flyaways for this style, especially because you're not using any synthetic braiding hair. So you can just expect, one, for your braid not to be the neatest braid in the world, and two, for a lot of flyaways and a lot of difficulty. It's not as smooth to add in the hair when you're not using synthetic hair. One thing I like to do is, as I'm going, I'm just experimenting with different ways to add the hair in. As you can guys can see in the beginning, I just went straight for it and just started adding in hair. But this way I'm plaiting her natural hair out first because I noticed that the boxes weren't looking too tight once I jumped right into adding the hair. So I wanted to plait it out a little bit just so that the boxes could be tighter and neater. And then once I plaited her natural hair out a little bit, then I started to add in the tips of the human hair. As I went, I braided down some, then I added one more, and then I, pulled that curly piece out, then I braided down some more, then I added another piece. And at every time that I'm adding the human hair to her hair, I'm adding it into a place on her natural hair that has no human hair attached to it. All right, let's say that again. So we have 3 legs when we're plaiting, right? And every time I add in a piece of human hair, I'm making sure that I'm adding it strategically to a section of her human hair, of her hair, that does not have extensions added already to it, right? Okay. And I'm not saying this slowly because I think y'all are slow. I'm saying this because if y'all been following me for a while, y'all know I have difficulty really explaining things. So that's why I'm trying to make sure for myself that I'm explaining it to you guys properly. So that's what I'm doing, y'all. I'm using the human hair as braiding hair. And so you have to add it in strategically so that, one, you get like somewhat equally yoked legs for your plaits, as well as you have you're extending the braids beyond her natural hair. So when she go to take this out, she's not cutting her natural hair off. So you have to kind of use the human extension hair to extend the braids beyond her natural hair, one, and you have to kind of have some type of equality between the legs, so that it looks decent. Like I said, the plaits aren't going to look the best doing a style like this, but it's so beneficial. I was able to get the hair super full, and one, like, it's not so long. If you're using the synthetic hair as braiding hair, you literally, you normally have to plait it all the way down, which makes the hair butt length or past the butt, sometimes, and not everybody wants that. Sometimes people want it. If she wanted, I could cut this into a bob when I'm done, and that would be no issues for her because I only braided a tad bit past her natural hair length. I do put at least one at the end to extend the hair, and then you guys have seen, like, I use that also to tie off the hair. So we're not using any type of glue to tie it off. We're not using any type of fire or anything. We're just gonna use a tiny strand of the hair, and we're gonna just wrap it around at the end and tie it off. And you're gonna see this done a few times, as I'm showing you guys in this video. So like I said, I'm going in and I'm adding in the hair, and I pull out the curls almost immediately. I braid it down a little bit, and then once I get ready to add another strand, I'm adding it right in the middle where there is no already hair in it. And then I pull out the curly hair and just keep braiding, and I'm just using that as a tool to extend her beyond her natural hair, and just to get some more length, as well as to be able to add some more curly pieces in so that we can have a full install. All right, so now we're almost to the end. This might be my last piece I'm adding in, and once I add in my last piece, I just go in and I fully, oh, not my last piece, I lied. All right, so whenever you see me pull it out like that, it's not my last piece, but this piece should be my last piece. So once I put this last piece in, then I braid it down, and once I get to the end of basically the end piece, I pull out a little strand and I wrap it around and do like 2 to 3 knots in it, and that's gonna keep my hair from unraveling. And that's how I'm able to like tie off the hair, and then I kind of pull all the rest of the curls down just like that, and that is how full you want it to be. So as you guys can see, it's not as thick as if I was using a synthetic hair. However, with the fullness of the boho and just only using the human hair, natural deep from Curlsqueen, with only using that, I was still able to get such a full head of hair, boho hair, and the hair was just beautiful, very much like giving vacation, which we did end up going on. But yeah, this is, I'm going to run through this a few more times for you guys just so that you can do it. But I highly recommend this if you are allergic to synthetic hair, to just try this method. Just know that your expectations for the braid itself don't need to be as high as if you were adding synthetic hair in, because the braids just don't look that neat, but your hair is going to be filled with so much curls that they are just not noticeable, and it just doesn't, to me, doesn't make a big difference in how the look of the style is. All right, so now you guys have seen me do the knot a couple of times. I did go, by pretty fast with it, but it's just a few knots. And if you guys wasn't paying attention to how it looked in the beginning, the parts have gotten just a tad bit bigger as we're going, because I didn't realize that how long this process will take. I honestly felt like it was going to be a quicker time frame. I'm just a slow braider in general. However, like I really did think like, okay, I'm not using synthetic hair, so this is going to be a quicker time frame than if I was using the synthetic hair. However, just the process of like pulling the natural hair and trying to be methodical and strategic about how I'm placing it in her hair and stuff, that alone kind of slows you down a bit. So this process to me didn't take any longer or any shorter than if I was using the synthetic hair. So this process is just a preference of if you want to try it without the synthetic hair, if you're allergic to it or whatever. But to me, it didn't take off any time. And maybe because this is my first time and I just need a little bit more practice, I'm not sure what it was, but we definitely went straight from daytime into the night, and y'all gonna tell by when we get to the next frame or next video that we were like straight up into the nighttime. And we did take a small break, but not so much of a break to where like it needed to take as long as it did. Would I do it again? Yeah, because my sister, she's allergic to everything under the sun, so I would definitely do it to help her out. However, like, no, I wouldn't jump at joy to try this process again. However, the hair is absolutely beautiful. It's a great alternative to use. Like I said, if you guys are allergic to synthetic hair, you just want to buy some bundles. I know a lot of people just want to use the bundles and the bundles only. And 4 bundles is more than enough, guys. Like, it's more than enough to use to get the fullness that you guys like. So right now we're at the top, and when you get to the top, you're excited, you're ready, you're like, okay, we're almost there. But once I got to the top, and we didn't get the middle part that we were expecting because of how the braids were set up, or just maybe how I parted everything. And so we ended up having a third part in the middle, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. However, that threw us off a little bit because we really wanted to end up with a middle part. And that's why y'all see I didn't start with my middle part. And this is a prime example of why I always start with my middle part, y'all. See, if y'all been watching me for a while, then y'all know like my middle part is my signature. And this is the sole purpose of why, y'all about to see in a second. This is the sole purpose of why I always start with my middle part, because then I won't end up with a triangular section parted in the middle that needs to get braided, I would actually end up with a middle part. So I just jumped right into her hair, didn't do my signature middle part. I started like parting out the back without doing it. And so I ended up with this triangular piece in the middle, y'all. Completely messed up the style because I had already parted on both sides, and y'all know, like, she could flip it any way she want. It's knotless, but at the same time, like, we were going for that middle part and it didn't happen. And so this is why I tell y'all in every video to start with your middle part so you don't end up in this position. But look how beautiful that hair is, y'all. I went in with some water, I sprayed it down, and then I put some leave-in conditioner in it. Do not recommend. It's always something when it with these boho braids. At first, it was like, okay, if I put mousse in it, the mousse was making it sticky. And now I was like, okay, leave-in conditioner, and that leave-in conditioner made it sticky. So for me, it's just spray some water in it, comb it out, and let it kind of dry on its own. And we were able to do some different styles in there. I was just trying something different. So I saw this cute little style and was like, let me try that. Then we were able to do the half up, half down. And look how full that is. That is just absolute. That is so crazy how full that is. And this is all human hair, and not even 4 bundles, y'all. This is maybe 3 bundles. All right, and then I did a little 2 braids just to show you guys some versatility in this style, that she can rock it in different ways and still be cute. A little quarter up, not half up, half down, but quarter up, quarter down, and then we put it, of course, in a ponytail. So I'll show you guys, like, it could go up in a ponytail and be cute, nice, and full. Look how full that is. I cannot get over how full this came out and how beautiful this hair is. Even more beautiful on the beaches of Jamaica. So I went ahead and pulled that down just to show you guys how it looks, just being down at the back, and just how full it is. And of course, you can, wash this hair. She washed it, after a few days, because she is allergic to the jam. But she did wash it, and it just looked even better washed. So this is how the style turned out, you guys. All the information will be in the description. If you want some money off, use code DBCG. And yeah, all the information will be in the description. Bye.